What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got another NBA discussion video to be kind of going over with you guys. This time I'm actually going to be talking about the possible free agents that could be joining the Golden State Warriors, whether it's going to be next offseason or potentially looking at the future. And then I'm actually going to also be, kind of ranking these players on, the most likely of them potentially joining, and of course, the most unlikely chances of them potentially joining the Golden State Warriors. But the first player that I actually want to start off with, who's been a lot of buzz that he could potentially partner up with Steph Curry one day, is actually LeBron James. Now, look, LeBron James is contracted until 2023, so any chance of the Warriors getting him within the next 2 years is obviously impossible practically, because again, it only happened if LeBron James himself requested a trade, and we know that that is most likely not going to happen. He seems to be pretty happy at the Los Angeles Lakers right now, but there has been a lot of buzz very, very recently and a lot of talk that he could actually potentially partner up with Steph Curry one day. This has led to a lot of people hinting that Steph Curry could potentially join LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers, and of course a lot of Golden State Warriors fans talking about how LeBron James could potentially join the Golden State Warriors in 2023. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is why this won't happen. This will not happen. I think it's practically 99% chance he's not going to join the Golden State Warriors ever in his career unless they drafted LeBron James Jr. With all the crap that he went through with Cleveland to, again, face the Golden State Warriors for 4 years in a row, it's not like he's forgotten that. It's not like Cleveland fans have forgotten that. It's not like LeBron James fans have forgotten that. It would just kind of be a knife in the back to not only Cleveland fans, but LeBron James fans, and I guess LeBron James' legacy, if he were to eventually join the team that, again, beat him in 3 different finals. I just don't really rate that at all. I'm not a fan of that. Even though I really think that Steph Curry and LeBron James would be probably the funnest duo ever to ever watch in the NBA. I just think that you're most likely going to see it would be Steph Curry joining the Lakers, and even that's never going to happen, really. I think that's, again, probably a 98% chance it's probably not going to happen, so probably a 1% chance less that, again, LeBron James actually does join the Golden State Warriors. So, again, Warriors fans, I think this is a pretty easy one. I think this is why I was going to start off making of this video with this, that LeBron James going to the Golden State Warriors is very, very unlikely, and if he was to ever join the Warriors, it would obviously be past 2023. So, again, it's not going to happen. That's a pretty easy one that I think we can put aside. The next one, which I think is actually extremely interesting, is the fact that Karl Anthony Towns and the Golden State Warriors could be a thing very, very soon, and I actually believe this is likely. I think this definitely, out of every team in the NBA, if Karl Anthony Towns was going to go to a new team, I think the Golden State Warriors would be the most likely team that he would potentially go to, and I think they've actually shown the most interest in potentially getting, of course, Karl Anthony Towns. I've covered on this channel, I think that Karl Anthony Towns to the Golden State Warriors is something that we could potentially see. It is something that has been reported on many times, by huge different amounts of articles. Like, when we look at NBA analysis, they've talked about it. Fadeaway World have talked about it. I believe even Bleacher Report actually talked about it, saying that they are actually monitoring. In fact, there is an article right here that does say the Karl Anthony Towns trade rumors, Warriors are monitoring. T will star. Again, this is a huge thing because it could most likely happen, and I think that it's the most Karl Anthony Towns is the most likely player today I'm going to talk about for the Golden State Warriors, and that's because there is a lot of reports that the Minnesota Timberwolves are extremely unhappy with D'Angelo Russell. Again, he's been barely able to play because he has had so many injuries, so D'Angelo Russell would most likely be getting traded. Again, there is a huge chance that they do actually draft a point guard in this class, which has led a lot of people to say that they'll trade D'Lo. Again, this could mean they draft Cade. Who knows who they're going to draft. They could go out and draft a point guard, or they could go out and draft a power forward, which in my opinion is what they probably should do. I think they should give D'Angelo Russell and Karl-Anthony Towns one more year and actually get them a power forward and go out and sign some free agents potentially, because we haven't really seen what they can do together. They've barely played together because there have been so many injuries. And of course, we know that Anthony Edwards is becoming a really, really talented player in the league. And I think if you partner Edwards, D'Lo, Cat, Beasley, etc., with like a Kuminga maybe or a Mobley, I think that would be pretty cool to see. But again, the Warriors will be very interested. If they do trade D'Lo, you know, if the Minnesota Timberwolves do trade D'Lo to another team, I genuinely believe that means Karl-Anthony Towns will request a trade. Of course, if you're going to trade his best mate, he's going to want to trade as well, and he will request a trade. So, you pretty much trade D'Lo, you also trade Karl-Anthony Towns. So, what would it be for Cat? Now, if Cat does request a trade, I think he will request a trade to the Golden State Warriors, where he will be playing with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. I definitely feel like the Warriors just need that another star, and let's look at it like this. Anthony Edwards would be, or, you know, he would be cool on the Timberwolves by himself, I think. But Cat exclusively with Steph and Klay would be absolutely awesome. And I don't think the Warriors would have to give up an extreme amounts to, you know, get him to the team. We saw James Harden was worth about 8 future first-round picks and a couple players here and there. Cat is an injury-prone player. Again, hasn't been fit and firing for a while now. When he is a pretty good player, but he just hasn't been, and his team is currently in last position in the NBA. I think that it would definitely be up to 3 future first-round picks. That's an absolute given. That makes so much sense. So 3 future first-round picks. Of course, James Wiseman would have to be in it. We all know that he'd have to be in it, because you can't just not trade. You can't just not get a, you know, one of the best centers in the league for nothing. You got to give up something, and I think, yeah, it'll be James Wiseman. It's just a sure fact. You know, James Wiseman's had a pretty bad rookie season. I don't even know if he's going to make a rookie team. I saw someone have him top 5 on Rookie of the Year. That is so false. He has not been that good. I think he'll make all-rookie second team. I don't think he'll make all-rookie first team. He doesn't really deserve it. I mean, he has averaged 11.5 points per game, 5.9 rebounds. He's missed a lot of games, though. He hasn't started his last 12, I believe, and he's only averaging 22 minutes per game. There are players out there that deserve to make the team over him. But again, like in NBA 2K, where he somehow goes up to like an 88 overall in like 3 years on my league, which is absolutely insane. He's going to be a very good player, and I think that he'll be thrown into this trade. I think that Eric Pascal will be thrown into this trade as well. I believe he's on about $2 million. Wiseman's will be on about $10 million. I don't think Kelly Oubre, who will be on about $18 million, I think he'll be thrown into the deal. So again, it'll be Kelly Oubre, $18 million, you know, Pascal, $2 million, so equals 20, and James Wiseman will be on about $10 million soon, so that equals about $30 million, plus 3 future first-round picks and maybe a couple seconds. Should get you Karl-Anthony Towns and maybe even another player here and there, like Jarrett Culver, who would actually be really cool for them. I think this trade would be absolutely great for both teams, as you now see the Golden State Warriors kind of go into it with, you know, a team that does look like Steph Curry at point guard, Klay Thompson at shooting guard, Andrew Wiggins at small forward, Draymond Green at power forward, and Karl-Anthony Towns at center. While off the bench, you would have Jordan Poole, who could be thrown into the trade. I'm not too sure though. You know, Kent Bazemore, Nico Mannion, Kevon Looney, Damian Lee. They need to improve the bench, but that's a pretty good starting 5. I think that could definitely be a championship contender as well. It's a pretty good big 3. And then as well, when we look at it too, the Timberwolves absolutely win on the trade as well. It's a win-win because now the Timberwolves get James Wiseman, who will be very cool to see with Anthony Edwards. They finally get that power forward in Eric Pascal, and you get a nice role player in Kelly Oubre, plus a bunch of first-round picks, plus when you trade D'Lo, you can select a point guard. Let's just say they win the lottery. You could be looking at a team that looks like Cade Cunningham at point guard, Anthony Edwards at shooting guard, Kelly Oubre at small forward, Eric Pascal at power forward, with James Wiseman as center, with Naz Reid, Ricky Rubio, Jaden McDaniels, Malik Beasley, and Jarrett, well, maybe not Jarrett Culver, but maybe like a Jarrett Vanderbilt of the bench. That is one of the most fun teams to watch, in my opinion. That team would be so exciting. One of the best young cores in the league. Like, I mean, Cade, Edwards, and Wiseman. Wow, that would be a big three for the future. You just want to hope that they wouldn't stuff that up. It'd be a very, very fun team to watch. I'm not going to lie. I'd very much like to see how that team plays together. That would be really cool. So I think this is a win-win for both teams if they made this trade. Will it happen? I hope so. I think it could happen. But who really knows? This is the NBA, and the Timberwolves are going to be really wanting to keep Karl Anthony Towns. So I'm going to say this is a likely trade. I think this trade could definitely happen in the future. And then we look at some more unlikelies. I feel like Karl Anthony Towns is one of the only likely players that the Warriors do get. But when we look at kind of the other players that we could potentially see them, of course, maybe even get, I do look at Kawhi Leonard, who is a player that the Golden State Warriors will really, really go ahead and try after and get. In my opinion, he will be on the unlikely. I don't think he's extremely unlikely. I think he'll be on the unlikely scale of things. I think there's probably like a 5% chance you could get him if he does. Well, let's just say he does decide to leave the Clippers, you're probably on about a 30% chance. I don't think he's going to leave the Clippers. I think it's about a 1 or 2% chance he does leave the Clippers. That's probably not going to happen. I think he will re-sign. He absolutely loves LA, it does seem. I think, when we do look at it like this as well, though, if he will leave, I think it's 40% chance he's probably going to Miami. We've heard a lot of rumors that he is highly interested in potentially going ahead and playing with Jimmy Butler. I think that's just something we all really do know about. Again, I have made a separate video on that, which I highly recommend you guys go and check out. Hopefully I'll remember to link in the description down below, but if not, it will be uploaded a couple videos potentially before this one, of course, does. Again, that is just a pretty interesting thing. I think that, again, Miami would be like 30%. One team that I would really like, now you guys might laugh at me for this, but wouldn't Kawhi Leonard in Sacramento be interesting? I mean, he still gets to live in California, but he gets to go to a team that hasn't made the playoffs in like 16 years, and it would be kind of fun, though, for him to try and change the narrative with a team that has a bunch of good role players and a bunch of future first-round picks. And I feel like De'Aaron Fox and Kawhi Leonard would be a pretty cool duo. Plus, you still got heaps of your first-round picks to maybe go ahead and try and trade for a star. Plus, like a role player like Harrison Barnes, you'd be looking at like a really interesting thing. Like, let's just say Kawhi Leonard did go to the Sacramento Kings. They're probably going to trade Buddy Hield, again, Marvin Bagley, Harrison Barnes could potentially be on the trade block, and a bunch of first-round picks. You're going to get another star in, then you're looking at a big three, but that's never, ever going to happen. I just think it would be kind of cool to see him maybe consider Sacramento. But again, Golden State would definitely be up there if he chose to leave LA. I feel like Golden State, because they are still in California, that makes a little bit of sense. Plus, a duo of him and Steph Curry would be a pretty interesting one, though. You can't really deny that. That would be kind of cool to see. And defensively, how are you going to stop Klay Thompson, Kawhi Leonard, and Draymond Green if Klay Thompson gets fit again? He's still one of the best perimeter defenders in the game. So that could be, something to look out for. Again, I think it's pretty unlikely, and I think if he was to leave to Golden State, of course, it'd have to be in a sign and trade because the Warriors don't have, that much cap. So what would it most likely be? Again, the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard's one of the best players in the league. If James Harden went for 8 future first-round picks, I know, again, because it's a sign and trade, it won't be as much as 8, but it'd still probably be like 4 or 5. Plus Andrew Wiggins, Eric Pascal, they would love James Wiseman. You'd have to trade up an absolute big amount. You know what? James Wiseman would most likely be in it. The Clippers probably wouldn't trade Kawhi Leonard unless they got James Wiseman. So, yeah, that's not going to happen. Again, it just would be like if Kawhi couldn't get the trade done, he'd probably still just remain in LA anyway. So, because he loves LA and he's just never going to leave. So, again, this is extremely unlikely. Kawhi Leonard is most likely going to stay as a Los Angeles Clipper. I wouldn't think it'd be too much really to kind of think about, and I think it's pretty obvious. This is kind of on the unlikely scale, in my opinion, just above, the very unlikely scale, which I think LeBron James sits on. Looking at a player now that is, I wouldn't say unlikely, I'd probably say this is a neutral, that they could probably get is a player like DeRozan. Now, there haven't been exactly too many rumors on DeRozan to the Warriors at all. In fact, there probably hasn't exactly been really any, but I still thought I'd cover him considering he's one of the biggest free agents in the league coming up, and I feel like every team's going to have a crack at him. The Golden State Warriors will most likely be one of those teams, I'd say, that could have a look at him. I think, again, this would be another sign and trade scenario where they'd probably trade Wiggins and a first-round pick or something to get DeMar DeRozan, which the Spurs would probably happily agree with, because I think Andrew Wiggins going into, kind of that Spurs system and Greg Popovich's system would actually be something intriguing and kind of curious and kind of cool to maybe watch unfold. In my opinion, I think that would be pretty weird if it did happen, but again, I'm all for it. I think that, again, this is a situation where I don't think the Warriors will look at him, but I don't think they will try and trade for him or do a sign and trade. I think he doesn't really fit too much into there. He's a really good offensive player and a great scorer, but his three-point percentage and three-point shots and the game style that he has and his system proficiency isn't really something that really fits the Golden State Warriors. It's not something totally they look after. They look out for ball movement. You know, they kind of like to run a lot of plays through Draymond Green, where Draymond Green will be a point forward, and then he will give it to either Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, whatever, to kind of do some play, or used to be Harrison Barnes or Kevin Durant as well. And again, he'd lay off a screen or something. They create this whole play, which would always usually work, and that's how they won championships off it. I don't know if really DeMar DeRozan fits into that. It's a lot harder to get open on the mid-range than what it is on the three-point range. So how does DeMar DeRozan kind of fit into that whole entire aspect would be a huge question that I think would be very curious to kind of see answered as well. But that's not to say that DeMar DeRozan isn't having a great season. He really got snubbed off being in that All-Star game. He's having a very, very good year. I mean, currently for the team, he's averaging 21 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, and 7 assists on about 29% from 3. So he's taking these 3-point shots now. He's shot 62 of them this season, and again, he has made at least 18 of them. So I guess that's pretty successful for DeMar DeRozan, considering, again, 18 is pretty good from his previous 9 that he made last season, and the year before that was 7. So again, 2018 he was on 15% from 3, 2019 he was on 25%, and 2020 he's on 30% pretty much. So he is improving. That is a very, very good thing to potentially see him, of course, do. Again, I don't know how much DeMar really fits into it, though. I don't really think he does. I don't think that they will necessarily go after him. Would it be an interesting thing to see them do? Of course it would be, but it's not really going to happen at all. So, again, I would very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for all the latest NBA news and NBA content. Don't forget to check out my IRL/vlogging channels as well, if you haven't already. Links for them will all be in the description down below. But again, don't forget to comment, what players do you guys think that the Golden State Warriors should go after? Where do you guys rank these players? Do you guys think my list is good? You know, I got LeBron James extremely unlikely, Kawhi Leonard unlikely, DeMar DeRozan on neutral, and I'd say Karl-Anthony Towns is likely. I definitely think he's a player that they could potentially go after. But of course, I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. But as I was saying, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.